This is the Living in Clarity podcast. My name is Brandon Fisher, and this is Coach Radner, and we are here in the Old City Radio Studios. And we're so excited to have special guest Kaya, Sarah, and your husband, Behar. He's behind the microphone.
Behars here, who actually built the studio.
Yeah,
I want to say for us, but it's not really for us. We just get to use it.
I'm so excited to be here. What an honor to be able to be with someone who helped me literally in my life so much. One thing is that just from seeing Coach Radner living his life, I was like, I wish I could even dream of a life like this, but it seemed impossible.
And now the impossible is now.
I'm possible.
Yeah, I'm possible, right? So how do we meet?
Oh my gosh. So the first week that Coach Radner came to Israel,
With my family.
With your family. I was by a different family, and they just came for the meal. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this family? Like, we just came from America.
I know,
and
we just got there.
And we're moving to this beautiful place. So when we move in, you should totally come. I'm like, great.
And that place fell through, by the way. We never got to move in there.
Wow. And then you were like, I'm going to be teaching at Aish. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you would be such an awesome teacher. I hope you get the job. We were
Yeah, I was hoping. I was not. They didn't say yes yet. I was like, that's my plan, you know.
We were blessing him that you should be able to get the job. And he's like, oh, it'd be amazing. I'm the kind of guy that needs to work at Aish. And I was like, wow, this would be amazing. And then for Shabbat, anytime I need a place for Shabbat, hi, is it okay if I come for Shabbat? Sure, we have the dog here, the entertainers, the kids. And the coolest thing was, who did we meet at your table? The first guy that we met at your table.
I don't remember.
Honey, what was the guy's name again? Jay. Not Justin.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I can't remember.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I wasn't there, by the way, because I met Coach Radner at his very first class at Aish.
Just so you know, that's Joseph Behar, who's behind the desk.
I'm behind the controls.
He's doing all the controls.
behind the controls. Behind the controls.
oh, I got it. Jonathan. That's who I met the first time at his table.
Oh, Jonathan Weiss.
Jonathan.
Oh,
Jonathan
Weiss. Amazing. Yes.
Okay.
And Jonathan is now friends with my husband, and he's like part of our family.
That's so funny.
He's a very big part of our family.
Is he the doctor?
He's going to medical school.
Yeah.
He's in medical school now. Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible.
So anyway,
okay. So all this happened, starting at your table, and then my whole life just turned around, like literally from like so many things.
I told you my chicken soup's really good, Brandon. It's really good chicken soup. It changes lives.
It's amazing.
We love the idea that the Shabbat table, everyone like claps to go, we're going to wash our hands, and all these songs that go at the Shabbat table.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun at our table.
We should take some of that for a Shabbat table.
Oh, yeah, tell us.
You can hire the Radner family, come down for Shabbat. We'll show you what a good Shabbat is.
Just tell us how the song When the Jews Go Wash Their Hands.
Now?
Yeah.
Oh, what do? We do, no, we don't do that anymore.
What?
No, we do.
Upgraded.
We changed it. That's an old song.
Oh.
So we are on God's team, number one on everything. Look at how many misses we've got. No, we say, all you taught you Daim's gonna be fine. All you have to do is wash 3 times or 2 times, whether you're Chabad or not. We will rock you. No, ha-motzi lechem miharetz. That's what we do.
I think
This is the new one or the old one?
No, that's the old one.
That's the old one, right?
We do something completely different now.
Tell us.
Oh my gosh, I can't do it. I need a table. It's not. You know, you have to invite us down. You have to invite us down for Shabbat for their family, and then we'll do it.
What are you doing this week?
Let's do it.
We have 2 guests tomorrow night. Plus, 2 of my girls.
Bring
are gone.
them over.
No, 2 of my girls are gone now. It's like, it's good. My girls are also engaged. All my kids are engaging. Baruch Hashem, I have amazing kids. Really, I mean, God just blessed me with great kids.
Hey, well, you're welcome to bring all your guests here this Shabbat. Change of Shabbat plan.
Yeah, but you're missing 2 girls. It's it's like the whole thing.
Next time.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to hear that song, because every song that Coach Radner does is like an excitement to Judaism. Like, this is what it means to be Jewish.
Yeah.
Jew, have fun, Jew. Be like, action.
I brought my mom to his house for Shabbat, and as soon as we left the house, I couldn't tell if she was having fun or not. And on the steps down from your apartment, she's like, that was the most fun Shabbat I've ever had.
You'll give us us some good tips. Okay, we got some new songs. That would be
great.
fun, by
That's
the way.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially for newcomers.
Well, I do a lot of songs in my classes. You haven't heard all of them, but you might have heard some of them. You know, I do like boom, cha boom, 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 the Torah, boom, cha boom, 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 boom. What I want to do is get you in the mood to get your heart on fire, fulfill Hashem's desire, live a life with meaning, so I can stop the singing. Boom, cha boom, 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 from the Torah. A little silly stuff like that that gets people
I
engaged.
love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to learn some of those songs.
Yeah, we'll find volunteers to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
Well,
it.
I've done some. So anyway, this studio is owned by Hotel Connections, and you guys have events at your house on Thursday nights, right?
Yeah.
I've been speaking at your house on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
I've done some of these things.
That's
haven't
fine.
I?
That's fine. Yeah, for sure.
Tonight, in fact, tonight I'm speaking.
We're moving it to the new Kotel Connections Visitor Center.
Okay, that'd be
which is
great.
gonna
We got to fill it up.
Super excited. Yeah.
We got to fill it up.
That's so cool.
This is like my dream. Like, do you know that? Like, this is like my dream. The fact that I can come to the old city and speak like for an organization or a group is like,
Fantastic.
it's unbelievable. Like, I look forward to Thursday nights.
So let's get into this all later.
Sorry,
We definitely
sorry.
need to talk more about what you guys are doing with Hotel Connections. But I am personally blown away with that you met him the week you moved in. I didn't know this whole history.
Yeah.
And that he met him the first week of Aish.
Yeah. So what's that story?
We actually met Coach Radner the same week. You and I, my wife and I had not met yet.
No.
This was years ago.
But so you tell the story how you met because of me also.
Well, first, how did you meet them?
So basically, I was here for a couple months, and somebody said, "Hey, there's somebody new who's going to be giving a new class. Why don't you go check it out? Tell us what you think." And I show up, and Coach Runner is like, "Number one, guys, I'm not a rabbi. Okay, I am not a rabbi."
Nothing wrong with rabbis.
No, there's nothing. No, of course. But you were just being very honest,
Yeah.
so that
No one
so
knew
people
me.
wouldn't think.
No
Yeah,
one
so
knew
people
me.
wouldn't think and call you rabbi, and then
Right.
whatever. Anyway,
still do, by the
and
way.
then we all did.
And now they call me Rabbi Coach.
Rabbi Coach.
Yeah.
That's good.
Anyway, so the class was fantastic, and anyway, and I think after that, that's when I went back to America, like a week later.
Wow.
A great way to go to Aish. I
Yeah.
come and I go.
Yeah, exactly. It was such a great class. I'm like, okay, I'm out of here.
Wait, how long were you in Israel for at the time?
I don't remember, like 2 or 3 months by
was a
then.
visit.
This was towards the end of it. Yeah,
Okay.
So at that time, I didn't know this. You were already like in Yeshiva for a while.
yeah. I would come and go. So I was working.
Where were you
I was
living?
working in America. No, I was living in America, but I would come here for like 2 months or 3 months.
Were you in California?
I was in between Los Angeles and Portland.
And what were you doing?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
Our audience has no idea who you are.
Hey,
Yeah, we don't know who you
at
are.
the time. At the time, I was a producer for television, film and television.
For a particular company or just your own?
It was a company called Electric Entertainment.
Okay.
It was an offshoot of Centropolis, and we did a lot of shows for Turner. For cable and Netflix, whatever. All the at the time there were the new disruptors, and now
Right.
they're old news.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what I used to do.
The new disruptors.
So are you still doing that?
Well, I'm still writing. I'm not doing to the extent that I was doing it.
Okay.
And I'm doing, obviously, volunteering and doing a lot.
Well, this is all
using those
volunteering,
skills.
right,
No,
right.
using those skills
Well, yeah,
for
this is-
Torah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a volunteer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you always wanted to meet someone, like this was your dream. I always knew you wanted to get involved in Jewish outreach and Jewish learning and personal growth. I always knew that. That was like, that's why you like coming to our house, because my wife and I teach all the time. But like, it's a miracle, like how you met.
This is a pure miracle. What I want to say is like this. When I was growing up, I wanted to pay God back for I had a very confusing childhood with Judaism. Like, I don't know what this thing is. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I just chucked it for 5 years. And it was a long journey. And then I came back. That's another time. But once I came back, I'm like, how am I going to pay God back for all that he's done for me?
Pay God back, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For giving me Judaism in the right way with
Right.
love and joy. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to dedicate my life to showing every Jew what it means to be a Jew. How much fun it is, how enjoyable it is, the positivity, the gift. And that was my goal. And my dream was to marry somebody who would want to do that with me. But in my head, my imagination was the size of my forehead. That was how big it was. Like, okay, I'll do kibbutz. People said to me, Achai, so you need a more quiet guy. You need someone who's going to be more low key. Like, you'll do the kibbutz, he'll be cheering you on. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. They're like, no, that's what's going to happen. I'm like, okay, whatever. Point is that in my imagination, I what I would say, Hashem, your imagination is so awesome. Use your imagination on me. Don't use mine. Mine is this big. Yours is the whole sky. That's how big you are. So Hashem, use your imagination on
I
me.
love
With
that
me,
This
line.
is really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with me, what do I know? I know from one side of my head to the other, and you're so big. I kept saying, Hashem, don't listen to me, listen to you, whatever you think. But in my imagination, I was like, you know what? I'm really never going to get married because the kind of guys that are around at age 40 are a little missing screws and a little, honestly, like the truth. If I go out with a guy like 1 or 2 years before, it was just like not even thinkable. They were just very odd. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm just never going to get married, and I'll just accept that I'm going to work in Kyiv, and that's going to be my life. And that's what I came to terms with. But I was like, but on the off chance that maybe I'll get married, maybe I'll find someone, I'm going to start with thanking God of who he is. He's caring, he's loving, he's capable, he's responsible. I had a whole list of everything that he was, even though it seemed impossible. But I kept saying to myself, but maybe. The other thing was that I was working in a school, in a seminary. And when you work in a seminary in Israel, you make shkalim and you eat them for lunch and for supper and for breakfast. That's that's the food that you eat,
Right. You don't pay very much, you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're basically eating your salary.
Yeah. You eat your salad. It's really good.
Yeah.
Celery, same.
Salary.
It's crunchy.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
So you basically eat celery for lunch.
Literally.
Right,
That's
yeah.
exactly what I would
That's what they
feel
serve
like.
at the seminaries.
And so in my mind, I'm like, how will my dream become a reality? But the other thing that I learned was manifestation, that when you believe with your whole heart that Hashem could do anything, even though it seems impossible, you can make it happen. So what did I do? Around my room, I hung up words. I am full of abundance. I am full of abundance everywhere in my room. Thank you, Hashem, for all your abundance. Thank you, Hashem, for all your abundance. And I would write, I love you, Hashem, and all these positive messages on my mirror. I would look in the mirror and I would say this to myself all the time. I would dance and sing. And it made no sense because I was not full of abundance, let's be honest.
It's funny because we're doing a series on self-esteem.
Self-esteem.
And number 7, and how to have strong self-esteem, how to be happy with yourself, is number 5 actually, is positive self-affirmation and listing your attributes. Like, you always have positive self-affirmation. Even if you don't believe it, it's fine. You can fake it till you make it. And that's what you did. I'm sure you have positive self-esteem, but like, you just told yourself, God, you can do anything for me.
But on the same timing, it didn't seem possible. Like, it wasn't like, I believed it like halfway because it was so outrageous.
Yes.
But here's the wild thing. I was living in a place with no windows, and I said, Hashem, I just want to see your beautiful world, but I don't even have a room to see it in. Mm-hmm. So please give me a place I could just see your world.
Wow.
And then I moved into a place a few months later that had one window, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a window. Thank you, Hashem, for your beautiful world. Thank you. I could see the sun shining. I could see the trees. I could hear children playing outside. I was so excited. I kept thanking Hashem every single day from my window, every single day. And the wildest part was I went to the desert to do like a retreat with my friend Sima. And while we were there, we did like a whole dance, and we were like releasing all our negative energy. We're like, we're starting anew. Our lives are about to change. We're going to see miracles. And we just kept repeating that over again, dancing, singing, jumping up and down. Our life is about to change. And that was the day that I moved out of my house. And that was the day that Hashem made me meet my husband.
No
without
way.
knowing that it was my husband.
Unbelievable.
Because I remember on my way, I messaged him. He's like, what about the elephant in the room? Remember that?
Obviously, somebody had introduced us, or not even introduced us, told us about the other, and we both said that we were not really interested.
Oh.
And then we kept running into each other here in the old city. And then, to make a long story short, we finally connected, and we were texting. But that was 2.5 months before we even went on a date.
Well,
So we wanted to address the elephant in the room. It's like, okay, so obviously the introduction was with the purpose of a shidduch. So what do you think?
That story is a great story that we're going to have to save for another time. But the realization is that, like, when they told me a Hollywood producer, I'm like, Hollywood producer? He's never going out with me. Are you kidding me? Went out with models. A Hollywood producer. I'm like, you guys, you're just absolutely adorable. I said, no, this is never going to happen. This is like in the logic of my mind. No. And my friend's like, Chaisar, what? That could be amazing. I'm like, no. And they said to him, well, what about this? He's like, no, what'd you say?
I was like, I'm sorry, she's not Sephardic. And I was like, no, I need somebody, someone who's lived a little longer, a little more, has a little more life experience. And anyway, then we run into each other, and it took one conversation. I'm like, I'm going to marry this girl.
Crazy. But here, our Coach Radner comes in is that I was standing outside in the old city with this huge sign that says podcast fellowship, and it says, make $15 to learn about your Judaism. And he says, $15 doesn't sound like a lot. How much is $15 in a year? So we sat there calculating on a little paper like this.
Yeah.
How many? And
Yeah.
he's like, it's about $600. I'm like, he's like, when you make the new sign, put $600. People will come running $600. Then you
Yeah.
write on the bottom.
I think it was 800 or something like that. I think it was 800, but it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Real money.
You
People-
whatever holidays and stuff, whatever number came. And you went back and forth with me, like you kept. It's bugging you, but like you were like constantly, like, it should be like this, and we discussed this for like a week on your sign.
Yeah.
Because a big sign says make $100 is a lot more exciting than $15.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, come on, I'm not like marketing 101 genius, whatever, but like, come on, it's not that hard, right? So we worked on the sign, and I think that's what helped you meet him, right?
Absolutely. The sign was where I stood behind, and
Right.
Yosef saw my sign.
Right.
And everyone was like, what's this? Ooh, $600. It sounded so exciting. And it was such a huge miracle. But then the most wildest thing was that, as we were dating, he's like, I want to change the world. And when he said to me, he's like, so I have like 30, 40 guests to Shabbos. I thought he meant 14 or like 13. I was like, wait, what? He's like, no, like 30, 40 guests. And I was like, oh, whoa, oh my God. And then the week that we got engaged, I came for Shabbat. And when I opened the door and I just see more guys and more guys and more guys, I could not eat. I just sit there like.
I was like, "Are you feeling unwell?" Like, I can't eat. I'm like, "Is the food bad? Did you not like it?" Like, no. I can't explain it. I
I
can't
was
eat.
so shocked that this is what. The door just kept opening and more guys and guys in kippahs and guys in no kippahs, guys with long payas, guys yeshiva guys.
Strimals.
Strimals, Hasidim, regular. Everyone was sitting together around this long table, and I was just like,
Was it
oh,
all
this is
guys
gonna
or
be-
did you have mixed?
All guys.
Do you have mixed?
No, only now in it's Kiruv Shabbatot,
Yeah.
but before it was only guys. Yeah.
That's so funny.
And I was just in such shock, and I was like,
It was
this is
like
gonna be my
you're
life.
living like it's almost like you weren't even here because it's like not possible that you wanted to do outreach, and here you have a guy who's already having 40 people for dinner. Like it doesn't compute.
Exactly.
I can understand why you didn't eat. I would have eaten. I mean, like that's nuts.
Really?
And he's like, oh, this is normal. And then he said to me, oh, but before I left Portland, I had 100 people in my house. I'm like, wait, what? yeah.
Oh, wait, you were in
And I
Portland?
cooked for them.
I was in Portland, Oregon. No, but that was not every week. We had a few people, like 12, 15, 20, something like that for Shabbat. But the last Shabbat that I spent in Portland, I didn't know it was going to be my last Shabbat there. And there was over 100 people. The
Yeah,
entire
wow.
community was there for lunch. Baruch Hashem.
You didn't cook all that, did you?
I did.
For 100 people?
Yeah, we do it here all the time. We have about between 40 and 7, sometimes 70, more
You
than
have
70 people.
70 tomorrow night, right?
But about.
Yeah.
Right, they always show up. They always
I don't
show
know
up.
what the number is.
By the way, we always just cook a whole bunch of food, and it's the perfect amount of food for the people. That
That's
show up.
unbelievable.
I can't even.
amazing.
I mean, we can't even explain how.
How do you
right,
get the
hon?
food here? Do you have the food delivered? Are you out?
No, we cook. We buy here at the little makolet.
Right.
Occasionally we
Food
go.
market.
Occasionally we venture off out of town.
To Osharat or something.
Outside of the walls of the old city, going to Osharat. We say Tevilas Derech, like going out.
I don't know if you have to say Deville there from the old city, do you?
I'm kidding.
I
It's
was
a
wondering,
joke.
did I miss that?
It's
Did I
a
miss that one?
joke. It's a
No,
joke.
because
It's
the thing with Walled City is not Walled City.
No,
it's a legal
it was
city.
a joke. It was a
Okay.
joke because it feels like we don't like to leave our little city. So going outside, like even just like Shar Jaffa is like, oh, we're going out of town. It was a joke. I'm sorry.
No,
Tough crowd, man.
I will tell you that for Sukkot, we went shopping. We came home with 2 huge cars, and like 20 bags, and we had people just kept walking. Like, can I help you? Can I help you? We just,
It was amazing.
it was like
Because we
was
had so
here-
many people, but that was like Kotel Connections. That was
you had people every single day in your sukkah. Because I remember walking by Ishtora, you had like all these people and like, oh my gosh.
downstairs and upstairs. We had 2 sukkahs.
Where's your other sukkah?
Oh, wow.
Well, the one was downstairs,
Right.
And then the other one was up there. It was the sleeping one, but there
sleeping,
were so
yeah.
many people that would it would overflow. It would Overflow.
But what I want to say is the words from a full of abundance, Chef gave me someone with the name Yosef. Yosef means abundance.
Wow.
And everything that Yosef does is with abundance. So the words that we say create our reality.
Yeah.
Some
And
people
Yosef-
may think
and
there's just like insanity.
And
Like,
Yosef
we
did-
just jump into it.
That's an unbelievable story.
Both of them.
Does
And that was
know
less
this
than a year
story?
ago.
This is a great story.
What?
This is like such an amazing story in the Jewish world. What you're doing here in the old city, hosting tons of people, just got married, and your first. I mean, like the day you got engaged, you came over for Shabbat dinner with 50 guys or 40 guys. I mean, who does this? No one does.
No,
this.
but I will tell you, like that's what I said. It's borderline insanity. Thank God that we're crazy, because the reality is everyone was telling us that you guys should not host, Shana Rishona.
That's the first year of marriage.
And then we have like one Shabbat is like, yeah, we're not doing this. We're gonna have some people.
Well, you're not young. It's not like you're 22, 23 years
For
old.
sure, exactly.
You
That's
guys
it,
are older.
exactly.
So it's
exactly,
a different. It's
exactly,
a different. You guys have been around the block. You've done this. It's not like, and I understand it's amazing. And what you're doing is the podcast studio, and now you're doing a thing at. It's going to be called.
It's called Kotel Connections.
Hotel Connections
Visitor Center.
Visitor
the old
Center.
city.
We're going to open up to people. And I think you're doing it. I think we're going to be involved in an event there in a week or two. And like, it's amazing what you're doing.
But that really is thanks to Rabbi Avi Saichik and Rabbi Ben Zion Klasko, who founded this incredible organization.
Where's Avi Chaychek?
Sidecheck. I have an accent, guys.
Sidecheck.
Sidecheck, yes.
Where is he from?
He's from Wisconsin.
Oh, now
Right, that's where he's now, and he comes
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
It's a great name that everyone tries to name it.
He's an amazing. He's a tzaddik. He had this whole idea because he was inspired by Rabbi Schuster's A Tap on the Shoulder, and he says
Let's-
there are not that many people doing that. So that's why.
Let's tell the audience what that is.
Yes, there you go.
Go-
Rabbi Schuster, who had a movie made about him, was a rabbi who basically would go to the Kotel Plaza and get people, who were traveling, because especially in the 1970s and 1980s, people would travel backpack around Europe and they come to Israel and they go to the Kotel because everyone's going to go to the Kotel. And he'd see Jews and he goes, do you want to come here? I think he'd say, like, do you want to hear a class?
You want to meet a rabbi? Do you want to
Meet
hear
a rabbi class, and they'd all say no.
Right.
They say, do you want a free lunch? And they go, yeah. So that's it. They come up and they hear different rabbis. I think was Rabbi Noach Weinberg was one of them.
That is correct, yeah.
And I don't know who else was. And he get them to hear rabbi, and they come and many people.
And by the way, he did this on his own, and it was he had an incredible impact.
By the way,
Yeah.
The Jewish
you would, from what I understand, when I saw the movie and talked about Rabbi Meir Schuster, if you had to pick the least outgoing guy in any of his classes growing up, this would be the guy.
Yeah.
This was not a guy who was like, like Brandon and I, we're brachas. We like to be around people. We get pleasure from people. He was not like that. He wasn't like a talker or schmoozer. He would just say, do you want to meet a really smart rabbi? And
Yeah.
they go, no. Like, do you want a free lunch? Do you want a free lunch? And I'm imitating him. I don't know what he sounded like, but that's what he's like probably.
You tap them on the shoulder and ask what time it is if they
Yeah,
have lunch.
right.
And that's how he would break the ice.
Wow.
And so this organization was inspired by what he was doing.
That is correct. So we have a whole bunch of incredible people who are going to the Kotel and the Rova. And
The Rova is the courtyard here.
the
in
Rova,
Old
yeah,
City.
the Jewish
Kotel-
quarter,
the
the Jewish
Kotel is
quarter,
the Western Wall.
That is correct. So the Western Wall and in the Jewish quarter of the old city of Jerusalem, and we go. We connect with people that are traveling, that are visiting, and all kinds of services. If they're looking for Hebrew classes, if they're looking when they go back home. They're looking for summer, Jewish summer camps for their kids. We're basically a resource center for the Jewish world. And then also like traffic controllers, we send them to different organizations that are already established and doing quite a bit of work.
It takes a very special person to do this. I mean, I just looking from the outside, and Baruch Hashem, I do a lot and teach a lot, and I really enjoy it. But like to set up a podcast studio in your apartment in Jerusalem in the old city is like, no one does that. Aish has been talking about doing a podcast studio. It might not happen in my lifetime, probably won't. It'll keep you talking about it, but like you just do it.
But by the way, that's one of the things. After being in Hollywood for so long,
Right.
and having done the lowest of the jobs and then some not as low jobs, you realize is that you have very little time to get things accomplished. And if you get so bogged down and so and everything gets delayed by politics and
Oh, I know.
committees.
It's so
I'm like, you guys, I'm gonna do this on my own. If you want to use it, great, but I'm just doing it. I'm just gonna jump.
I said that Brandon-
and I get volunteers and we work together and we just make it happen.
When we first met, a year and a half ago, we both said we want to do a podcast. And I said, okay, let's do it. Brandon was on board, but like I could see many people like, well, we don't have the right equipment, we don't have the right room, and like just never do it. And we just literally we went to the basement, we went to a bomb shelter at Asia Torah, right? Remember that? A bomb shelter for our first few videos?
Yeah.
And just filmed in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't have guests. We just filmed.
We knew we had idea. Let's make it happen.
Maybe we should take this off of our website.
They're not that bad.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know.
I don't know. We have to go back and look at them.
I'll tell you what it is. When you want to change the world, you don't care what it takes. You're like, I'll be a garbage collector, and then from there I'll move up.
Right.
But you got to be somewhere, So
you
this
have
is
to be
super
moving
wild.
forward in life.
But you have to jump. The thing is that if you look at the world today, it doesn't feel like there's too much time. The things are so crazy. So also, I'm 44, and my wife is much younger than I am. But
22.
What?
22.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure.
Sounds great.
Anyway, but the reality is, you realize like if you don't do it now, then when? And if you start waiting for decision makers to get more committee meetings and everything like that, Mashiach will come and we did nothing.
Organizations get tied up with themselves.
For sure.
That's the problem. Like a lot of where Brandon and I both teach.
They never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
Is that because it gets so bogged down? They can't accomplish anything. If you want to accomplish something, you
sure.
really you have to go on your own and just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
As you're learning, right?
As I'm learning right now.
Yeah. You have to sometimes just go for it, and you can't rely on other people.
You have to take that leap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do want to share some fun stories that we've had just in terms of our experience in doing the Kotel Connections, because that has been insane. And Yosef has experienced so much of that. So let's just quickly explain. Kotel Connections, from the woman's perspective, we go down like, hey, can you take a picture for us? So, sure. And then we start talking. We dance with people on the spot. We just started dancing. Everyone's just snapping and clapping. And they're like, great. We go over to anyone. We're like, who cares? Everyone's an amazing story. We met a girl yesterday or 2 days ago. We were talking to her. She starts describing to us that she's going to be going to India because she wants to just go by herself and enjoy herself. So we said, tell her about yourself. And we told her, the story that just happened, those two people that were killed, it was just so painful to see. And she's like, we need achdus, we need unity in the world.
You said that.
We were both saying that together. And then she's like, you know what? I want to share something with you. She said her sister was killed in one of the terror attacks. And I was like, whoa, who knows who you'll meet at the Kotel?
Wow.
And she said in the beginning, she was so overwhelmed. She was a wreck, crying, angry, disconnected, rebellious. It destroyed her. And then she came to the realization her sister's name was Hodaya, which means to thank. She said after a few years of that, she said, my sister passed away because she wants to teach us how to become great people. And we're going to become great from her. This is what she said. And she said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to become thank you people. And her whole family and her, they started like thanking Hashem. And she says every single day, she does 10 gratitudes before she goes to sleep at night. And she loves thanking Hashem. And we gave her little grateful cards. We're talking about gratefulness now because Purim is all about thanking God for the miracles that he's done. And she's like, I'll take them to India. I'll give them out to people. And we were like, oh my God. So that was like insanely wild. But then we had this guy, Shimshi, who picked up this unbelievable people and ask Yosef what kind of experience that was. Those people that he picked up, Shuetas, I don't even know how to say it.
Well, no, so very fascinating. So there were some folks from Spain, and we were talking about actually Rabbi Yossi Wallace, who he himself is the one kind of opened the lid on the awareness of the Spanish Jews that had converted during the Inquisition. And there was a group of Jewish families that they only married within Jewish people who had converted to Catholicism, but because the Catholic Church would not allow them to marry into the with other Catholics, they stay within a community. So anyway, so all of these people from this town, these families that Chuetas they're called, they're all Jews. They're all Jew. They had lost their identity, but they had married other Jews and anyway. So
this is a crazy story because
we found some of these guys. We met them at the Kotel. Some of these families.
This is the second book about Rabbi Yossi Wallace, and the first book's called Incredible One. and it tells a story. And I
And
want
Yeah, please go for
since
it.
our listeners can't see it, so it's called Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2. Yeah, I'm showing if you're watching on YouTube.
It's
And the
incredible,
reason I'm
not
showing it
The
'cause
Incredibles.
he went to this what's the city? What's the city
It's in Mallorca.
Mallorca. He went to Mallorca. All these people that lived there at one time before the Inquisition were all Jewish, and they all converted to Catholicism. As you said, I'm repeating because it's so important. The church would not let them marry with other Catholics. They all married within their families. All these people, so they're all still Jewish.
And what about like practicing?
But the interesting thing is that they would not even let them go to a regular church. So they made them convert their synagogues into Catholic churches. So they can even go to the regular Catholic church. So a lot of these people, we met a family and they came to our home and they're Catholic, but interestingly enough, they had such a desire to find out more about Judaism. They came to Israel. The older man was like learning Hebrew, and he was just trying to get in touch and get to know more about his roots.
Does Chabad open up there?
There is, I believe, I'm sure they're everywhere.
No, I'm saying that's the town.
No, I mean, I'm
They
like,
have to convert
I
them.
don't
They're
know
all Jewish
Majorca,
already.
but I'm close.
They're all
by.
Jewish. It seems like a perfect place for a Chabad.
So we are connecting them.
work.
We are connecting them with some with a rabbi in Spain, so that they can continue their journey.
Well, the most beautiful thing was that Shimshi brought them up, and Yosef starts talking to them in Spanish. So that was super exciting for them because they know the same language.
Yeah.
And then you got them to say what, honey? That was really
We got to
special.
say the Shema, which was
Wow.
we taught them how to say the Shema, and we explained what it means. And
Do they know they're Jewish?
They do.
How do they feel saying the Shema?
Well, by the way, they know. You know why they know they're Jewish? Because of Rabbi Yossi Wallace, because he brought the Beit Din of Bnei Brak. I don't know when this was, probably in 1990s or something like that. I don't remember. So now they all know that they're Jews. By the way, the name chuetas, they mean piglets, but the thing is they were only given to Jews who converted by the Catholics, and also by the other Jews who decided to not convert and get burned at the stake instead. So it's incredible. So we have, I had just finished reading or read that in Rabbi Wallace's book, and here they are. We get to meet them,
That's
we get to talk to
unbelievable.
them, and then we get to connect them through Kotel Connections to a volunteer, to a Rav in Spain, so they can continue to learn about their Judaism. This is
That's so cool.
fascinating.
Can you believe what you married into? Out of nothing.
That's a point. That's the thing. Now I want to say a really funny story. You'll really love his story. This is Yosef, like his koach, okay? So we were like, we're really exhausted. We're not going to be having guests this week. We're just going to get a small group. Maybe like 10 guys are going to come because we really need a little bit of a break. We're exhausted. Okay. So he messages his friend. And what do you message him, honey, about the sushi?
Oh, this is funny. So I'm like, listen, we're going to have a smaller group. So we need to order some sushi, and we're all volunteers here. So I was like 50 pieces of sushi, like 50 little rolls, right?
Yeah.
This is for a few people. So I typed in 500 by mistake.
Oh no.
So then we're getting ready for Shabbat, and all of a sudden they knock at the door, and they're bringing platters and platters, and I'm looking at my wife like, what? No, the first platter, I'm like, oh, there's 50, that's so nice, and then there's another platter, like, man, this guy's so nice, he gave us some free sushi, and then more platters, and I'm like, I think we're being punked. Maybe this is a joke.
You should have called me. My kids would have come down and eat half.
No, it was insane. No, but here's the incredible thing, is that it happens every time that we're not going to have a lot of guests. I'm telling you, by the end of Shabbat, there wasn't one piece of sushi left. We had, I think, 70 people that night. Just people showed up from the kotel. Baruch Hashem, like we didn't know we were going to have that many. Hashem knew we were going to have that many.
So funny.
Right? It was. By the way, that happens all the time. It's crazy.
But the funny thing was that the guy wasn't surprised. Like 500? Oh, that's normal.
Because we feed a lot of people through
Yeah.
the
He was
organization.
like,
So obviously,
wait,
it
maybe this
didn't
is
seem.
taking this number. Like, I should have given. Like, should I question him? Like 500? Like, most people they'd be like, oh, 500. Wait, he must have put the wrong number. But if Yosef was like 500, oh, obviously.
No, but people are going to get the wrong idea. We feed a lot of people through the organization, so that's why it's
Right.
like we always have. We're trying to feed people.
And obviously it was enough.
Yeah, thank God.
Who's funding this organization?
Rabbi Saichik is working very hard, day and night, to raise funding
Yeah.
for Kotel Connections. So For those that are listening, if you want to be part of this incredible mitzvah, you can go to kotelconnections.org, kotelconnections.org, and support us, be part, volunteer. But it takes resources to be able to do what we're all doing, and it's very important work. We're connecting people that are not connected to themselves, to Hashem, to God, to the Jewish people, to the Torah. It's quite something to see. You see lives just completely transformed.
It's a really great organization to get involved with. What you guys are doing is inspiring. It's incredible. It's great to watch. And it's right next to the Kotel. You guys live right here. This podcast is in your house. And the house, like, you guys are hosting a ton of people. You're filling it up to the brink every week.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you guys have a new space.
Thank God. I will tell you the reason. So we have the podcast room, but really there's the studios for allcityradio.com.
Right.
And allcityradio.com, we have it in English and we have it in Spanish. And basically the whole point of that is to have words of the Torah, so we get learning for the entire Jewish world coming out of Jerusalem 24 hours, 6 days a week.
Is the radio show live already?
We're already live. So it's allcityradio.com.
The oldcityradio.com, and there's, I think you
We have
mentioned
English and Spanish.
And
music.
for women.
And we have for women, but we don't publicize that because the women do all their own marketing. They have a separate website because it's for women by women, and but the main site is allcityradio.com.
What is program 20? It's 24 hours a day, right? So what's
So we have music. We have music. We have different rabbis giving. We have moments of inspiration with Rabbi D, for example.
Right.
So
You
it's
got the
all about
Living in Clarity
positivity
podcast.
and growing. What was that?
You have the Living in
And
Clarity
we
podcast.
have the Living in Clarity podcast on allcityradio.com. Yeah. All right.
So this will be on the radio show.
Yeah, you should listen to it. It's great.
Yeah, I have to.
This great podcast.
Yeah.
But these two guys, fantastic. It's on this radio.
Brandon, what's it like for you to hear all this? This is like a new time for you. You've been to us for Shabbat.
Yeah.
So what have you seen when you came?
I mean, the coolest thing is that I met you on the Akiva trip when I was leading the trip as a madrich, and I was, you had just so much energy, and I don't really understand what kind of podcast she's promoting here, but she's paying us $15 to listen to it. But I was in yeshiva, I didn't do it. I was like, this is really cool. So then that's how I met you, and then I met Yosef when he moved over here, and all of a sudden there's like things going on right next to the yeshiva, and like people are going to meals here, huge meals. So I'm just like watching, like, what is going on over here? Obviously I knew Yosef, and I was like inspired by him. He's like full of energy, and it reminded me of like what I was doing in Colorado. I used to be hosting people for our meals all the time, and I really, really miss it. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, I want to be part of that. I want to do that also. I want to be hosting. So I love that you guys are doing this. Then you guys, connected, and then you started scaling up, and then scaling up more, and then you guys just kept taking more and more on. Now there's a podcast studio, and there's an event hall, and all these things.
Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting year.
From the outside, I'm just watching and cheering you guys on because it's inspiring, and I want to do stuff like this too.
But that's the beauty, the beautiful things that we get to work together. We get to do this. It's incredible. This room is always being used by other people who have podcasts, and they're not necessarily on our platform, but they're doing wonderful work for the Jewish people. So this is really for anybody that's doing some good things and who wants to change the world.
I think my real message is to realize that like Hashem is so big, and the more you put your trust in him and say, God, you could do anything. Nothing is impossible for you. Like nothing. Like things that seem impossible, say Hashem, but with you, nothing's impossible. One of my very good examples I love giving is like, you could stand under the waterfall of Niagara Falls and hold a cup. You're like, oh, okay, I'll get a cup. If you stand under the Niagara waterfalls and you say, God, can you give me Niagara Falls? Like I want to trust in you. God will pour this heavy, huge Niagara Falls on your head. But it's your choice to be like, well, God can't really do that. I don't want to bother him with these things. Hashem's like, fine, if you don't bother me, I'll let you take care of it. Don't worry. I have 100 things to do. If you don't want to come to me, no problem. Let me know how it goes when you do it yourself. But when you do it with me, then magic happens. I'm like, prayer is magical. You want to look at a magical world? Go into prayer. In your own heart, in your own words, just be God. You are the one who runs the world. So if I come into you, I could have things happen that seem impossible. That's really what I feel.
Wow, I'm inspired by you.
Yeah, I'm so inspired.
I mean, you're
Impossible.
unbelievable.
In other words, I'm possible. And then when you say those words, then it's not impossible.
Yeah.
I am possible. I love it. I don't even have to ask, but we always do ask if you could share a key to clarity. But I think that was a key to clarity, unless you have another one to share. And if Yosef, if you want to share a key to clarity,
Absolutely.
Key to clarity. I'm gonna let my wife go first.
yeah. I mean, she just shared a great one, but got to ask again.
Another one.
A key to clarity, I would say number one is the words that we say create our reality.
It does.
And also, like, the more a person has gratitude and positivity in life, the more they're going to see blessing in their lives. It's like 100% guaranteed.
Along those lines, I think that you have the choice. You have the choice to determine what goggles you're going to put on. Every situation you can just like you can change your glasses. Just which goggles do you want to look at the situation through? Do you want to see the situation through the goggles of gratitude, and that is going to really impact your day, or do you want to see a situation from the putting the goggles of victimhood, which is not as great. So I think we get to make choices and we get to manifest.
We have a quick marriage story where, like, you're newly married and you think one thing and he thinks another, and this is exactly where you could get upset or joke about it. So, honey, we'll do our egg story because it's so good. So I told myself, I'm like, I'm going to make you delicious breakfast. I'm going to make you, I know you love eggs. And I'm still learning how to make his style eggs because my style was just put egg in, done. What else do you do? His eggs is like, a little higher class. So he likes onions in it and,
Omelets. He likes the omelets.
Yeah, like something delicious. But I never did that. I just put an egg in and done. That was my life. So I said to him, well, honey, I'm going to make you delicious breakfast. He's like, oh, thank you so much. He's like, can you just use the garlic, that we set up for Shabbat, the coagulated. I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, yeah, sure. I didn't know at all what that meant. And I went into the refrigerator and I took the garlic that's totally just
raw garlic,
Raw
like
garlic.
peeled raw garlic.
Yeah. I'd like to buy that, but it goes bad so much faster than the.
We use it.
We find it so fast. Yeah.
Yeah, we use it. You roast it. You can actually roast
Yes,
it.
it's really good.
It goes in the refrigerator. Yeah.
So you use raw garlic.
And I'm like thinking, wow, this is going to be the most amazing egg. And I'm so excited.
How many cloves of garlic did you use?
Like 6 or 7.
It was a lot,
gosh.
but it was like garnish. It was, it was like
raw.
it was.
Wasn't cooked.
Yeah, it was right. It was a marriage blooper. It was. You see, but we were thinking different things.
Sure, it's different
We're
perspectives,
like
of course.
completely different things.
From your view, you said 6 cloves is okay as long as it's cooked.
Right. No, I was thinking, like, the one that I prepared, which is like, it was because it had oil, it was coagulated, so it's a little hard, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, great. And she was like, I don't know what coagulated means, but this is garlic, and this works great. It was, we had a great laugh about it.
Yeah.
So we could have gotten upset. Like, what do you mean? I asked you to make me food. Why don't you go to the refrigerator, choose the right thing? And I don't even know what it is. I had no clue what it was. But I'm like, yeah, of course. And so he just started laughing. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, Amelia Bedelia makes breakfast.
Amelia Bedelia makes.
But you see, you have to. That's what it's like. What goggles are you going to put on? Or put on the clarity goggles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
You're
just
probably like
living.
me. You've cooked yourself probably for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to. Like I just. When I got married, my wife was cooking for me and stuff. But like, I'm a little picky about food. Like, let me just do the cooking. And now I do all the cooking because I just want the food the way I want it, right? And it's hard when you have a different perspective. She has a different perspective than cooking than you do, right?
For sure, very, very different. Yeah.
Right.
I never cooked a thing in my life. Never.
You never cooked.
No, like.
What did you do when you were single? You didn't.
I would go to Behar and eat my food, my supper there.
What about when there was no seminary?
Just basic food. I would just buy frozen things, put in the
Eggs,
microwave.
boom.
Yeah, put in the microwave. Like I didn't make food.
You've never cooked.
I don't think I've ever had food made in the microwave.
We don't
in
have
my
a
life.
We don't have a
I don't know
microwave.
what-
Wow.
We do not have a microwave in our house.
Wow.
We don't.
We don't either.
On purpose. On
Right.
purpose. Yeah.
What?
No,
So,
I don't use microwave.
Fish is like, wait, what? It's
Amazing.
a new thing.
No, we
Yeah,
cook
we-
everything goes in the ovens.
right. So I'm saying, so that's what God does. He makes somebody who completely never cooked a thing in life marry someone who's a major cook. And he's like, okay, now you're going to learn how to cook for 60 people.
Right.
That's how I
By the way,
started.
she's cooked by herself. She's cooked by herself.
That's an art form.
For like
And it's
60
amazing.
people, and it's phenomenal.
It's
It's
an art
delicious.
form. It's just you have to get it's a mindset. It's the same thing. Put the right goggles on. It's a mindset. You just use big pans, and that's what you have to do.
I am possible.
Wow.
You guys buy the new Clarity goggles here for $20.
Clarity goggles.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I wrote that down because it's really good. I got to use that. I might use it tonight. in
Yeah, for
class.
sure. Go for it.
We got glasses for perm. You know,
We're gonna call them the Clarity goggles.
Yeah.
There you go.
We got
There we
different
go.
colors. We got pink, blue, green, yellow goggles.
Yeah.
Now everyone can live in clarity.
Yeah.
Nice.
Put on new glasses.
Yeah.
I love
Amazing.
that. I love that so much.
You know, I just want to mention that we changed our name a few months ago from the Fish and Code Show to Living in Clarity. And I'm so happy we did it because now when I'm giving a class or talking to people, like, don't you want to live in clarity? Oh, by the way, I have a yes. I mean, who doesn't want to live in clarity? Right? Who doesn't? Don't you want to live in the truth and not in falsehood? Not with fake things and not what other people think you should be doing. You're living in your own clarity.
That's the best life.
You know what? 1, 2, 3.
Clarity.
We didn't tell them what to say. He knew.
I knew because I was here for the previous
Yeah.
one.
1, 2, 3.
Clarity.
Amazing.
That's our new thing.
There we go. Wow. I'm so surprised, impressed. You guys are inspiring, and I believe in so much more possibility now. Thank you.
I just can't wait to interview you again in a few months when you have lots more stories to tell us because the stories are going to be so inspiring.
Where can people hear more of your stories, hear more from you?
The B Crew.
Yeah, they can go to thebcrew.com, and that's where if you don't have a place for Shabbat in the old city, you can book it through thebcrew.com, THEBCREW.com, as in Behar, and it's free. You don't have to pay for anything. Just let us know in advance, and then you can. We have some podcasts on the side as well.
So you're saying someone coming to Jerusalem who doesn't have a Shabbat dinner can go to this website, thebcrew.com, and get a free Shabbat dinner at
Correct.
your house in the old city,
Correct.
which basically almost overlooks the Kotel Plaza.
That is correct.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
is
Thank
that is incredible.
I think what we can do is this was Yoni Denitz's idea. He said, make a sign right outside your door. Never had a Jewish meal? Come for free at this timing and direction.
That's a great idea. We should do it.
At sundown.
Yeah, exactly. Friday nights. We do host
Right.
Friday nights. We don't host during the day.
Right.
We do host third meal. And then right after that, we normally have minyan, and we do Arvit, Havdalah, and then we do
Havdalah,
Lava
yeah.
Malka after
Yeah.
that, the fourth meal.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a really fun episode. Thank you
Amazing.
for watching this episode of the Living in Clarity podcast.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Living in Clarity podcast.
If you enjoy what you just heard, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment with any suggestions for future episodes.
We'll see you next time.